10 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Monday morning, March 25th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM, the information and cultural beacon of the Four Corners, broadcasting from San Juan College. Special good morning to our viewers who are watching us live this morning on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. Welcome aboard, everybody. We're glad you're with us. Coming up in just a moment, my guest today from the Aztec School District, Superintendent Kirk Carpenter, is here. Deputy Superintendent Tanya Prokop is also joining us, so stay tuned for that in the next few moments. Later on this hour, we'll be talking technology as we do on Mondays with Lewis Campbell from Synergy Computer Systems here in Farmington. That is coming up at 8:55. And, of course, at 9 a.m. after the news at 9 o'clock, Mick Hess will be here, Roving with the Arts. He is playing music from Sibelius. It's Symphony number 6 on Roving with the Arts this morning at 9:06 on KSJE, so we hope you'll check that out as well. But let me turn to my guests who are here with me this morning from the Aztec School District on a rare Monday appearance from my guests from Aztec Schools, but because of spring break, we kind of rescheduled. So good morning, Kirk Carpenter.
Good morning, Scott.
Good to have you here. Also, Tanya Prokop, good to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you both for coming in this morning and talking with me a little bit about what's going on with Aztec Schools. And, of course, the big story has to be the results of the legislative session. Lots of attention, I think, on education in New Mexico. Lots of money coming to education in New Mexico. Some of that court-ordered, I believe. And so how does that fare for Aztec Schools, Mr. Carpenter?
I think it fares well not only for Aztec, but for all the school districts in the state. A lot of decisions were made, and I think a lot of it was attention being paid to the recent lawsuit. You know, I think there's still appeals out there, but the legislature trying to answer the bell, if you will, to say we do need to put more attention and focus into education. And at the same time, when they do that, there's also, in some respects, added pressure. And I say that there's money put for extended learning that schools can take advantage of if they choose. But that adds some difficulty as well. Extended learning this year, schools can apply to go like 10 extra days for schools that qualify. Or you can do what they call K5+, which is education like 25 extra days in the summer for schools that qualify. The difficulty for some schools, and ours included, is the 10 extra days is gearing up for that and having the ability to actually add that to your calendar. And so the appearance may be that if all this money is out there, which there is a lot of money, and there's a funding factor that goes into each of those, where schools get additional money for that. It's not in the regular state education guarantee, which is money we get for funding for next year. So it's separate money. That if all schools don't take advantage of it, it makes the appearance that schools don't need the money. That's not the case at all. It's just the fact that the session's over, but a lot of teachers, a lot of families have made arrangements, so you may not even have the staff to gear up your schools to do those things. And so by no means in any respect are we complaining about any of that, but it's difficult.
Right.
And honestly, a lot of families don't want to send their kids to school during the summer. So this kind of a program, honestly, may be something next summer, not the summer of 19 that would be beneficial, but the summer of 20. That schools could really take advantage of it. So we're answering a lot of questions right now with our president of our association, Superintendent Torres from Taos, who is relaying those questions to the secretary, saying, here's some of the concerns right now. Not that we cannot use the funding, not that we don't want to gear up, but it may take a year. So there's a lot of those kinds of things that really came out of this session. It's interesting when you have a session where there's no money and a session when you have a lot of money, because I don't think we've ever really, in my career, I know, seen this kind of revenue. So there's a lot of benefit to just on the learning side. Obviously, the other big benefit is there's going to be some well-needed and getting some revenue into the hands of, or I should say raises into the hands of teachers, principals, and across the district for all employees. And that's necessary because that is something we've been missing for a long time. And so that in itself is going to help. I think it'll also help on the side of even things like textbooks, which is absolutely goes right to the classroom. And that's where they want to see the money going, and we do too. So there's a lot of positive things. I think the legislators did a good job in trying to shuffle the money where it needs to go. We as districts will continue to be accountable. We have been. We always will be. We'll be very transparent in what we're doing because our job is to educate students and make sure that money goes to the classroom, and we're doing that. And I think we've done a very good job of that over the years. So a lot of good work done in Santa Fe, and they did have a lot to work with.
Right.
So we'll see how it goes.
They did. Does that increase in salaries and some of the attention given to salaries, could that help with the recruitment efforts for finding maybe new teachers? I know that's always an issue for school districts across the state.
I'll start answering this initially, and I think when it comes to recruitment, Ms. Prokop is the one that does such a great job for us in our district. But I think initially it's a good start. We have to get more competitive. In our state, we understand where we're ranked or supposedly ranked nationally. I would love to lay our teaching staff and what we do in our state on a daily basis down against anybody in the country, and I mean that. Rankings are rankings, and but what happens on a daily basis in our district and districts up here, I know the type of work that's happening around us in every district, and sit down with some of those that are leading the country or they say are leading the country. But I think it's going to help, because if you can't get people to look at what you're doing in your districts or in your state initially, and that initial look may be a salary. It has to be because they have to feed their families. Then I'm not sure we're going to get them to look, because when we go to recruiting fairs, and Ms. Prokop, again, I'll turn it over to her, they're going to look at starting salaries initially. It doesn't matter how nice you are. And one of my mentors, I know our mentor, Dr. Linda Paul, once said that, Kirk, we have to get more competitive because people are going to stop coming to us just because we're nice.
My previous employer at the TV station, we used to tell folks, even though the salary was low, we paid them in sunshine. Mm-hmm. And that didn't seem to work very well. Tanya Prokop, for recruitment, higher teacher salaries, is that going to help in your pitch to get folks to Aztec schools if and when you have openings?
I'm trying to still figure out how I could make sunshine pay my bills.
Right.
But,
unless you're a solar panel, it's not going to really
that's
help.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I think still one of the biggest problems with recruiting for any school district in the state are the number of people that are not choosing to go into the profession. So that's still the number one problem. But if you take a look at when you do go to a fair, where there are some educators that are showing up because they are looking to get a job in the teaching field or in a school district, absolutely, you're table by table. And one of the first things that people want to look at is their salary, because we all have bills to pay, and not everybody has solar panels or figured out how to use that ray of sunshine. So if we can be more competitive with surrounding districts, absolutely, that's going to help folks come to Aztec. One of the things that we have found is, and I'm sure that it's in our surrounding area as well, but people come purposefully to Aztec. They come because they're coming back home. We have a lot of graduates that are returning back to pay it forward in their district. We have folks that are coming back because they need to take care of family members that are aging. So they're coming back purposely to Aztec schools. But again, it's like a tug of war, because they may come back, but if we don't stay competitive, they may turn around and go 15 miles one direction or another because they can get $5,000 more, $10,000 more. So that's where I'm really excited that with the help of the Public Education Department and legislature, that we'll be able to do a major overhaul with our salary schedules and become a little bit more competitive with the surrounding districts.
Very good. My guest this morning from the Aztec School District, Superintendent Kirk Carpenter is here. Deputy Superintendent Tanya Prokop is here. Mr. Carpenter and Tanya Prokop, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, more with my guests in just a moment right here on KSJE.
Are all those unread emails in your inbox causing you stress? It may be time to tackle them head on. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace Tech, demystifying the digital economy. I'm Jed Kim, in for Molly Wood.
Marketplace Tech is supported by Amazon Web Services. Whether it's searching for life on other planets or helping enterprises reinvent their industries, AWS works to help technologies scale to meet the challenge. More at awsishow.com. And by Fracture, a glass photo printing company committed to reducing carbon emissions, creating frameless photo decor by printing digital photos directly on glass. More at fractureme.com/marketplace.
It's spring, which means it's time to clean. You've put your winter clothes in storage, swept and mopped, cleared out the gutters. But what about that laptop that's littered with 10,000 photos, unsorted documents, and